Well, Victoria, thanks so much for joining me today.
Oh, I'm so excited to be here, Arlena. We've been
So
talking
this
about this for a little bit now.
we
So,
have been talking about this for a minute, and I announced it, I think, on a couple episodes ago that we were going to be doing this self-help junkie podcast series. And as you and I were discussing topics, I was like, there is so much to talk about. But first, we should probably define what a self-help junkie is. What is it? What's a self-help junkie in your mind?
well, I think it's anyone that is looking to explore healing modalities, is open to the concept of just evolving to the highest level of themselves. What does that look like for you? For me, I'm defining it as a seeker. Um,
Yeah, seekers.
constantly seeking to evolve and to add more tools to my toolbox. What about you?
Yeah. Well, it's funny because when you and I were talking about this concept, we were laughing because like you love all the same stuff I love, right? I love all the podcasts and the books, and I get super into it. And I get that hit of dopamine when I learn like a new insight or into myself or others. Just get when I get this deeper understanding about things, I get this little dopamine rush. But I'm a seeker too. And it's funny because in my own house, like I'll be like, I'll watch like a Huberman Lab podcast episode, and I'll go to my husband and I'll be like, oh my God, he said this and blah, 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 blah. And I realize after a couple of minutes, his eyes are glazing over. Right.
Well, we could talk about this all day long, you and
All
I.
day long. And we do. We chat on Marco Polo all the time. And I was like, I
Yeah.
bet there's a whole bunch of people out there just like us who are just seekers and want to know how people tick. But I think the missing piece for me has been, how do I apply this to my own life? My instinct is to, like, being a coach and being in the recovery world, my instinct is always to consume information in order to then send it out, right? But I'm like, what about me? Right? How do I feel like the best way to teach is by example, right? So I feel like, how am I taking this information in and applying it to my life? So we had talked about the format of the podcast. I got to go to the spreadsheet. The format of the podcast would be to answer questions from the previous episode, right?
Right.
Start with SMART goals. So a SMART goal is specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, and time bound, right? And then we could ask, did you take action on your SMART goals? If yes, what action specifically? What were the results? Meaning, how did you feel differently? What were the outcomes? And if we don't take action on those SMART goals, what got in the way? Right.
Absolutely.
So I think it would be interesting to sort of have this as a format and then talk about different topics. We have some amazing topics to discuss. Let me see if I can just find them real quick. Topics, like you and I cover sobriety all the time. That's something that we're very familiar with, but self-esteem, self-love, boundaries, triggers and cravings, trauma, like what is trauma? There's a lot of people talking about trauma. So I want to get some clarity about what that is. Manifestation, everybody loves, law of attraction and learning how to manifest. So we'll touch on that. We'll touch on spirituality, how to process grief, heartbreak. We'll talk about parenting, marriage, work-life balance, or maybe just balance in general. I think toxic relationships is going to be a big one. We were talking about
Absolutely.
groups. What was that?
I said absolutely. That's going to be a hot topic for sure. And I mean, so many of them, so many categories that we can touch on that and expand on it within our own experience, right? Like
Right. Yeah, just within
we
our,
have so much experience to discuss, and I'm really excited about it.
yeah.
More than anything, I hope that our listeners, when they start to dive into this, like the work, right? What is the work and how do you apply it? And how
Yeah.
are you going to make space to give yourself time to apply it in areas that you really want to transform in? I know that a lot of people have a motivation. You and I are recovery coaches, right? So we do this for a living. We get to see, some people transform. The ones that really transform the most is when there's application behind it. So I really do. I am excited to hear from listeners to see what's working, what's not working. So we are going to be starting an email. Let's an email, right? We'll put together an email
Absolutely.
address so that they can ask us questions and we can answer, hopefully.
Yeah,
And
I want to hear this is all about action. Like, what action are we taking? It's like that idea that self-knowledge avails us nothing. It's great to have insights, but
right,
unless we're applying that information and taking action, this is about applying the law of cause and effect, right? This idea that mood follows action. So everything is going to be predicated on it's the right information, the right actions, and then measuring results, like, how did things work out?
right.
What works, what doesn't work. So we'll have, for now, people can always just email me at arlena@odatchat.com. That's always a good one for now. And we'll probably have to figure out something more long term. But yeah, we definitely want to know, like, what topics resonate with you the most, like, where are the challenges in your life, and let's get into it. We'll just talk about it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Where can we bring more peace and joy and love and connection? Where are the blocks? I think that diving into those, and they come in different forms, whether it be relationships or something outside of ourselves. Removing those to just get closer and more fulfilling, joyful life, right? That's
Absolutely.
my hope.
Yeah, and this will be audience participation. So we definitely want to hear from you. We want to hear from you about, like, what experts who do you follow? Like, what experts do you listen to? What books, what podcast, and accordance to in association with the topics, if I can speak. Oh my God. But you know what I mean, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
So what are the topics? Who are the experts that you go to? Who should we be talking to? So all that stuff. So
so exciting.
I know I'm
I
super
think
excited
we're
that
going
we're
to
doing
learn
this.
more too. We're going to have so much more to put in our
Oh yeah.
toolbox. So
Yeah, absolutely. We're gonna be applying this stuff to our lives too. And I'm excited about the manifestation stuff too. I mean, I've been doing a lot of that for years. Ever since did you ever see The Secret? Remember when the law of attraction?
yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that was huge when that
That
came
was
out.
huge.
Yeah, when that came out, man, it gained popularity really quickly. I do believe in manifestation. I've been able to manifest in my own life, but I do know that with manifestation, this is not just visual. This is, again, it's a practice. Like, are you
It's a
visualizing
practice.
what you want? What do you
Yeah.
want? And how are you going to get it? So
Yeah.
it's really, what's your focus more than anything?
Yeah. There's so many facets to this that we can get into. So
Yeah.
we'll just you and I will probably talk about self-love and self-esteem in the first episode. We'll define terms. We'll talk about some SMART goals. We'll put it into action, and then we'll report back the following episode and see
That's
how it goes.
how exciting.
Okay. Well, this is a little in between episode, so this will just be a short episode. We just wanted to announce what we're doing, where our heads out. We want to invite you to participate, and we'll just allow it to unfold and see where it goes.
Awesome. So
Thanks.
excited. Looking forward to it.
Yay. Thanks for helping me out, and let's get to it.
Okay, let's do it.